Hello friends, as Brightburn hits theaters, I caught up with producer James Gunn and star Elizabeth Banks at the Four Seasons, to talk about their nearly 15-year friendship, whether the new film is launching its own franchise of supervillains, and Gunn's future with Marvel. It has been 13 years since you guys worked together on Slither.
Jeez,
oh my
wow.
God.
I don't
Sorry,
think we realized that.
We were only 16 years old.
I know, it's so young. And we still are so young.
Yes.
And you both aged beautifully. How often have you guys talked in the interim about working together again?
Oh, a lot.
Yeah. Well, we talk a lot about working together. We also we've talked a lot. We're just very regular friends, which is great, and it makes this type of thing all that much easier.
Yeah, and I have a real trust in James, and when he came to me with this movie, which melds two of your favorite things, horror and superheroes together, I knew that I would be in really good hands. And then Dave Yarovesky, the director, we had like a really amazing conversation just about like the way into this movie with the parenting aspect, and which is what drew me to Tori, and all of the questions she has about parenting a problem child, and one that she's sort of in denial about, and the limits of unconditional love and the anxiety of parenting in this moment in time is also really fascinating to me.
Maybe there is something wrong with Brandon.
Can you tell me a little bit about Jackson and the search for him?
That was really hard.
Yeah.
I mean, because we needed a kid that, had that all-American hero look, but could also be a demon kid. That's Jackson.
Yeah, totally.
And I think he also needed to be a really good actor who we could look at and put our hopes onto. For a big part of the film, we're watching Jackson and
rooting
hoping
for him, yeah.
Yeah, we want him to make the right choice.
Yeah.
We want him to be the good guy. I'm not even sure I've totally given up that
Me
he's
neither.
gonna be.
At the very end of the movie, you still believe maybe there is goodness inside of him. And I think that's like an innately human idea, because I'm pretty sure it's not an alien idea.
It is. It is an alien idea. Part of that is that you like this kid. And that is what a movie star is, really. And he's also a great kid just hanging out on set.
Yeah.
James, you've said that Rocket is sort of like your avatar in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. Do you feel the same way with any of the characters in Brightburn, any other superheroes that you're working with now?
I love the concept of Brightburn. I love the story of this kid. And I'm really moved by it and saddened by it, and I think it represents a lot of fears that we have in life at this point. I relate to Tori quite a bit because she loves something so much and is unable to look at it as maybe it's something that's not good for her. And I think I've felt that way about projects I've worked on. I felt that way in relationships. I think it's a very common thing that anybody can relate to. I also really relate to Kyle an awful lot, who's standing on the sidelines going, wait a second, what is going on? Am I not giving enough, or are we being totally taken here? He represents this doubt that I also really relate to. So there's a lot of characters.
Has a cameo at the end of this movie, which was amazing for me to see because I love and I know that you guys have collaborated many times. But he also kind of sets up future films. Was that the point of that scene, to try and set up other things?
Well, I think the point of, first of all, I always think first and foremost about this movie by itself. And I think that what that is like, this is not an isolated experience.
Yeah.
There are other things like that happening in the world.
It just blows open the world of the movie, right? It's like not so much just about Brightburn, Kansas all of a sudden. It's like, wait a minute, this is a phenomenon,
I think we have possibilities of places that we could go if people, like this movie. If people enjoy it and they want to see more, I think that we are always there to be able to provide.
I want to do good, Mom. I do.
You were a producer role on this film. You've done producing work in the past. You exec produced the most recent Avengers films.
Yep.
As Marvel moves into more of the Celestial with the Eternals and things like that, since you've kind of built that up, do you think you'll do more producing work in that arena as well?
I will. I mean, I'll keep producing stuff, I think that at the end of the day, producing something like this where I really was on set every single day and working with Dave and working with Elizabeth and trying to make this movie is a little bit more fulfilling in some ways than what I do with, say, Marvel, where I'm, giving notes on scripts and helping them out with the character and guiding an overall thing. I think, yeah, I'm a filmmaker, so I like making movies and telling stories.
We like watching them. Elizabeth, you've become quite a filmmaker yourself with...
I'm on my second big feature.
Yeah, you're doing fantastic. Do you guys ever share notes on directing as filmmakers? Now that you're both filmmakers.
I send him scripts and ask him to give notes.
We definitely do. I mean, also, I think that there was a time, it wasn't that long after Guardians came out and Pitch Perfect 2 had just come out. And we were probably at, just white hot intensity in terms of being wanted by everyone in Hollywood to try to, and I hadn't signed my deal for the sequel to Guardians or whatever. And so we went through that together. I remember having dinner with you and Max, and we were talking about what do we choose to do next?
Totally.
Like, how do we handle this exactly? Like, we're used to being people that are trying to direct.
And now it's like, you can direct. What do you want to do?
Yeah.
And it was like, wait, I have options.
Yeah.
Like, whatever.
And this is like the most spoiled thing to say, but in some ways sometimes it's easier to not have that many options because then you only have a couple things to make a choice from. But when suddenly you're white hot in Hollywood and you can do anything you want, then all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, it's totally up to me and not the fate. That's hard.
Yeah, well, it's a lot of pressure too.
Yeah, people don't know the hardships.
Oh, well, speaking of that end, James, you've had a bit of a second chance now in Hollywood. What do you want to do with it? What's it like now for you, having gone through what you just went through?
I would like to make Brightburn and have the world see that. Listen, I am really excited going between making big, huge studio films and coming back home and helping nurturing newer talent and creating smaller projects and myths come in all shapes and sizes, and hopefully people will keep going to the theater and seeing them in all shapes and sizes.
And you two talked about your relationship. You're friends. You've been friends for a long time. When James was going through what he went through, did you guys talk at all about it? Did you have any thoughts for yourself?
I mean, I called you right away.
Yeah, we talked immediately. Yeah, we're friends.
Yeah, I said I love you.
Yeah, she said she loves
want
me,
the
which
best,
which is what was great.
Yeah.
And I mean, listen, I think that, there's a lot of stories that come out about Hollywood and how everybody's cutthroat and willing to cut and run anytime things go wrong. And what I've found is that as I've been here, I'm good at one thing, and that is choosing quality people to surround myself with. Quality people in terms of talent and quality people in terms of just their souls. And I've been very, very lucky to have people like Elizabeth in my life. And I'm the same way with her. Yeah. No matter what happens in her life, I will always be her friend. And she has my love no matter what. And same is true of her husband, Max. And, of so many other people, Dave Yarvo and my brother Mark and Brian, who worked on this movie. And there's so many people in this movie that I love and care for. And at the end of the day, I make a lot of movies, but if I don't enjoy making them, what worth is it making them? I like to be surrounded by people who are just the best people in the world. And that's what I got to do with this movie, which is amazing.
Thank you so much, you guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you.